What is Jodie Ramsey planning to do with a stolen gun? And could her latest disturbing move place the residents of Coronation Street in serious danger? Tonight's episode sees tensions explode at the garage. Sarah realizes that people are questioning her relationship with Gary, and Nick receives a painful reminder that Sam's recovery may be far more complicated than he hoped. The most immediate danger begins at the garage, where the conflict involving Kevin, Carl, Ronnie, and Tyrone reaches a frightening peak. Their disagreement has already become increasingly hostile, but the situation turns potentially deadly when they struggle over Fiona's gun. The weapon fires during the confrontation, although the bullet fortunately becomes lodged in the garage wall and nobody is physically harmed. Even though everyone escapes injury, the gunshot acts as a serious warning. The rivalry between the four men has moved beyond angry words and personal resentment into a situation where someone could easily have been killed. In the aftermath, they finally begin discussing whether there is a way to put their disagreements behind them. For Carl, this appears to offer a much-needed second chance. He seems relieved that the conversation is no longer focused entirely on blame and confrontation. However, viewers may still question whether his desire to move forward is genuine or simply a reaction to how close the situation came to disaster. Carl has been placed under enormous pressure, and his decisions continue to affect not only himself, but also those around him. The episode's most worrying development comes when Carl attempts to hide Fiona's gun. The weapon is supposed to remain concealed until one of Fiona's criminal associates arrives to collect it. Carl believes that he has left it somewhere secure, but he is unaware that Jodie has been secretly observing him. Once Carl leaves, Jodie takes the gun before the intended collector can retrieve it. What makes the moment especially unsettling is her reaction. Rather than appearing frightened by what she has found, she seems pleased with herself. She then carries the weapon back to the Platt house, placing an extremely dangerous object in the middle of a family home. Jodie's behavior is becoming increasingly difficult to dismiss as harmless troublemaking. Stealing a gun requires secrecy, confidence, and a willingness to take an enormous risk. Her decision suggests that she either does not fully understand the possible consequences or believes she can use the weapon to achieve something. The biggest question is whether she has a specific target or plan in mind. Elsewhere, Dylan and Betsy are deeply affected after Brody is pursued by a group of troublesome young men. Their concern is intensified by memories of Mason and the tragic circumstances surrounding his death. At the cafe, the two share a quiet moment as they reflect on the teenager and the importance he had in their lives. This scene highlights how grief can return unexpectedly. Brody's experience forces Dylan and Betsy to confront memories they may still be struggling to process. Their emotional connection is not only based on their concern for Brody, but also on the trauma they share after losing Mason. Meanwhile, Sarah discovers that her actions have not gone unnoticed. Maria has already begun to suspect that Sarah may be involved with Gary, but confiding in Todd proves to be a mistake. Todd quickly approaches Sarah and informs her that Maria is questioning the nature of her relationship with Gary. Sarah is now in a difficult position. Even if nothing has happened between them, secrecy and suspicious behavior have created an appearance that may be hard to explain. Todd's warning also means that she must decide whether to confront Maria directly, defend herself, or continue hiding whatever she does not want others to know. Nick faces a different emotional challenge when Sam agrees to see him at the mental health unit. Nick is relieved to find that his son initially appears more like his old self following the beginning of his treatment. His optimism is understandable, as he desperately wants evidence that Sam is improving. However, Nick becomes too confident too quickly. A look inside Sam's notebook reveals that his son's difficulties have not simply disappeared. Nick's reaction reflects the hope of a worried parent, but it also shows how easily that hope can prevent someone from recognizing the complexity of mental health recovery. Sam may appear better on the surface while still experiencing serious struggles internally. Finally, Carl's problems become even more dangerous when Fiona discovers that her gun is missing. Believing Carl may have deceived her, she gives him 1 week to recover the weapon. Her threat places Carl under intense pressure, while Debbie and Ronnie could also be caught in the consequences. My prediction is that Jodie's theft will connect several of these storylines and become the main source of danger in the coming episodes. Carl will probably search desperately for the gun without initially realizing that Jodie has taken it. As Fiona's deadline approaches, his fear may lead him to make further reckless decisions. At the same time, the presence of the weapon inside the Platt house could result in an accidental discovery or a terrifying confrontation. Jodie may believe she is in control, but carrying a gun into such a busy household makes it increasingly likely that someone innocent will be placed at risk. With Jodie hiding a deadly weapon, Fiona threatening revenge, and Sarah facing growing suspicion, tonight's Coronation Street promises to leave several characters in dangerous and emotionally complicated situations. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you do not miss our latest Coronation Street spoilers, predictions, and storyline analysis.